for all the examples we've seen. Him suing Showtime for $300 million, him foreclosing on multiple properties, him losing on investments on multiple properties, him buying a lot of depreciating assets, and him all of a sudden looking to box very much in the year 2026. Floyd losing money Mayweather, as the chatter says, is in dire straits financially.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Some people will say, you know, he's suing now because of his gambling habits, which was not hidden. It was not a secret. He would post, not Teddy Atlas talking about anything that wasn't out there. He would post some of his tickets, his betting tickets that he bet, and they were large bets. And so some people say, oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, he blew his money.
The boxing world is showing clear signs of both sorrow and anger as legal issues continue to tighten around him. He could now also face a lawsuit from Manny Pacquiao over the recent remarks he made about their fight.
Not one of these sick people, and I call them sick, I'm not afraid to say what I feel, that's in their underwear in grandmother's basement or wherever the freak they are, taking pot shot at people because of their misery, because of their misfortune, because they're in a bad place. Shame on you. And shame on the people out there. I know that there's some of them, everyone knows I don't really read that internet unless somebody shows me specifically some stuff. And I saw some of the stuff. I didn't want to see any more, so I told them, don't show me any more. But I saw enough to see what was out there. People taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing.
New reports suggested that Mayweather's enormous fortune may not be as solid as believed, citing debts, foreclosures, liens, and heavily financed assets, including real estate and a private jet, while creditors were reportedly seeking payment for outstanding fuel bills. In addition, Mayweather drew criticism after describing the Manny Pacquiao bout as an exhibition, despite having accepted an advance for a professional contest, potentially placing him in violation of his agreement.
The fight weekend of Fundora and Thurman. Apparently he did an interview, said that it was an exhibition, that these guys didn't have anything to prove, that their legends were already set in stone, and that it would be an exhibition. He wasn't sure if it was going to be at the Sphere. Apparently, that is not true. According to a Boxing Scene article that interviewed Jaz Mathur, the CEO of Manny Pacquiao Promotions, said that, yes, the fight is contracted for the Sphere, booked at the Sphere, scheduled at the Sphere for September 19th. It is booked as a professional fight, not as an exhibition. It was never booked as an exhibition, which makes sense because Netflix got behind it, and I would assume that they would not want an exhibition. We said the other day, I think it was actually yesterday, we said that this fight has to be a real fight and not an exhibition because one, Netflix is involved, two, Manny Pacquiao wants that get back, and two, also just betting lines. It's a huge...
On X, Mike Carpenter highlighted Floyd Mayweather's disputed remarks, stating that those comments were at odds with Netflix's official announcement and could place him in breach of contract if he continues to label the event as an exhibition. Wade Plemons argued that after receiving signing bonuses and advance funds for a professional bout, Floyd's decision to call it an exhibition suggests an attempt to mislead both Netflix and Manny Pacquiao's camp.
Because you got one person saying, this is a real fight. You got the promotion saying, this is a real fight. You got Floyd Mayweather saying, no, this is an exhibition. There's two things that are happening here. Either somebody messed up in paperwork or in communication or in some form of getting this fight together, misspoke to one of these guys, or Floyd Mayweather is trying to scam Netflix. That is the only two things that can be possible here. Because we then get the report, as of yesterday, that Floyd Mayweather has already taken a cash advance payment of his purse for the upcoming Manny Pacquiao rematch on Netflix, despite it currently being in jeopardy. I don't even know how that's possible. Who gave him a cash advance before they even got to the fight? I understand like paying some up front to secure the fight, but paying everything? Maybe it's not what it is. Maybe the cash advance is like...
Teddy Atlas described the situation as deeply unfortunate, explaining that some athletes do not have the proper guidance when it comes to handling their money, and he believes that is precisely what occurred in Floyd Mayweather's situation.
They risk everything. They risk so much. And then everything they took the risk for sometimes is lost. Whether it was Joe Louis, whether whoever. It never becomes not sad or unfortunate to hear. Never. It's look, you could say it's their responsibility. It is. It is. You got to know what's going on. But there are also sharks in this business, in any business. And sometimes these athletes, I wouldn't even specify fighters. We're talking about fighters. But you hear it in football, Bud. You were around it. You hear it in basketball. Sometimes these athletes, they don't have the right people around them to look out for them. To properly educate them, to properly advise them.
Jonah Rennick, a businessman who has attracted controversy and is known to be a close associate of Floyd Mayweather Jr., is frequently regarded as an important figure overseeing Mayweather's business ventures and real estate holdings following his boxing career.
Not a real fight. Is that what's his feeling? But he signed a real fight.
So it's for sure.
Yes, the contract we signed is a real fight.
Real fight. Okay. Yeah, because I know he said
I want to fight an exhibition.
No exhibition. It's either real fight or nothing.
Yeah, it's a real fight. Yeah.
Is Spear still in Las Vegas?
That's the contract that he signed. I mean.
Yeah. Okay, so it's still happening then.
Yes, still.
Joe Rogan points out that Floyd Mayweather remained one of America's most prominent boxing stars for well over a decade. Music in 2015. He defeated Manny Pacquiao in what was then the most lucrative fight in boxing history, displaying elite defensive skills, lightning-fast hand speed, and the Money Mayweather image that helped build both his fame and fortune.
Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather. Changed the whole thing.
He knew what he was doing.
He definitely did. It would have been an interesting fight had he fought Pacquiao when he was younger in his prime. It would have been a very different fight.
Would have been a more interesting fight.
Much more different.
Because
much more difficult
any go-forward physical warrior like Pacquiao is going to wear down.
Right, exactly.
And any brilliant counterpuncher like Floyd is going to retain more.
Yeah.
So he did.
Yeah, it would have been much more interesting when they were younger. Also, the fact that Pacquiao fought him with a bum shoulder. That was a disaster, too.
Money talks.
Yeah. I mean, look, I guess he was faced with this thing, legacy, it was the biggest pay-per-view of all time in boxing, correct?
I believe so.
And I think it was like 4 million buys or something crazy like that.
It was huge.
Floyd Mayweather has long been known for displaying his fortune, freely spending on high-end watches, exotic cars, and even writing massive checks worth $18 million as though the amount was insignificant. He regularly projected an image of limitless wealth, appearing unaffected by any financial concerns. However, he has now launched a lawsuit against his former broadcasting partner, Showtime, along with former President Steven Espinoza, alleging that he is owed $340 million. The legal battle underscores the gap between his public image of unlimited riches and the financial disagreements taking place behind closed doors, illustrating that even a figure as successful and wealthy as Mayweather can encounter difficulties when contracts, payments, and obligations come into conflict.
Email retired. I know some people gonna be like, well, you said I didn't want to say I was active because that's normal. Right. I said I wasn't activated. I knew what I said. So a lot of times I'm like, oh, you didn't say it right. I know I said it right. I know what I said. I know what I posted.
I don't really care how much you make, bro. I feel like writing an $18 million check has to feel some sort of way.
That's crazy.
I didn't want to do it. Of course, I'm like, who wants to give up basically 20 million?
You wrote 18,180,000,000.00. Like, bro, that's crazy.
I got huge deals on the table, so I'm always making shake.
What's the biggest thing you got working right now?
I can start this. Come here. So come here. So
dude, what is it?
Look at this long. Okay. So right here.
That's crazy.
I just keep stuff on the low.
Yeah, my math don't work like that.
He was always speaking about money and success. Many fans spent years hoping to see Mayweather lose, but Floyd managed to turn that negativity into an advantage. Rather than hurting him, the criticism helped drive pay-per-view numbers and generate enormous revenue, transforming public dislike into financial gain. Music, his talent for benefiting from both support and hostility helped establish him as one of boxing's most profitable and polarizing personalities, demonstrating that criticism can become a source of income when paired with elite ability, self-belief, and the money Mayweather image that has defined his career.
One time, very simple, we said, what a prize fighter fight for? And I'm like, and he said, the prize. So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things the audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying?
Max Kellerman goes on to explain that boxers such as Floyd Mayweather, who spend heavily and neglect smart financial planning, frequently face major money issues once the peak years of their careers are over. He stresses that earning vast amounts of money does not guarantee lasting financial security if those earnings are not managed responsibly. According to Kellerman, excessive spending without preparing for the future can create serious difficulties when an athlete's ability to generate income begins to decrease. Using Floyd as an example, he suggests that poor financial planning can contribute to debt, legal conflicts, and even a return to competition. His message is that disciplined financial management remains essential for long-term stability, regardless of how much an athlete earns.
Floyd, with the 3 fights that's coming up, Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, I think the guy's from Greece or something like that. What do you feel about great champions doing these kind of fights as well? Or just these kind of fights that's going on?
You need money. Damn. Yeah, when you need money. This is the problem with boxing. You think about financial literacy, right? And you talk about like NFL players or NBA players. There's support systems for those dudes. There's nothing like that for fighters. They got to figure it out all themselves. And if you're a fighter, that means you did not have options.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like basketball or football. If you could, like, by the way, football players couldn't play basketball or they play basketball. It's a better deal, right? That's if you can, you do. And boxers couldn't do either one of those things, right? They're too small or they got hurt, whatever it is. And so you're dealing with a section.
Max Kellerman also takes aim at Floyd Mayweather's handling of his finances, drawing attention to music, his lavish spending on expensive cars, luxury watches, and gambling. He argues that constantly displaying wealth without a solid financial strategy can eventually lead to money troubles. Kellerman notes that this is a common problem among athletes, many of whom retire with far less than they earned despite making millions throughout their careers. He emphasizes that even the highest-paid competitors need to manage their money carefully, as reckless spending and impulsive purchases can rapidly diminish large fortunes. In his view, Floyd's lifestyle serves as a warning example, demonstrating how ongoing extravagance and a lack of investment planning can cause lasting financial difficulties, ultimately forcing even the most successful athletes to confront serious challenges.
Or kind of structure in place to help them at all. And so what usually happens with almost every fighter who ever lived, not everyone, but most of them, is they wind up going broke at a certain point, right? First of all, taxes, child support, all that kind of stuff, that promoters, this and that, and then just the way you spend your money. Could be bad investments. You can try to do the right thing and wind up with bad investments. You could just spend too much. And the thing is, if you're not the best in the world anymore, but you're one of, let's say, the 50 best in the world at what you do in your weight class, still hard to tell that dude, you can make $100 million. No, don't do that because you're old.
Right.
The discussion then shifts to the proposed Manny Pacquiao rematch on Netflix, although the status of the fight remains unclear. Questions have been raised about reports that Floyd Mayweather received his purse in advance, with critics arguing that while an initial payment to secure a bout is common, receiving the entire amount beforehand is highly unusual. Both ESPN and Mike Coppinger reportedly confirmed the advance payment. Plemons claims that Floyd has a history of accepting advance money while disrupting fight promotions in ways that help preserve his 50-0 record and maintain his earnings. He points to previous events, including exhibition matches with Deji and Logan Paul, where Floyd allegedly sought substantial payouts or indicated he might withdraw from the event. According to Plemons, these latest developments could create legal complications, as Pacquiao's representatives reportedly maintain that Floyd signed 3 separate agreements for a professional boxing match.
Suits. Be believed, and this is via ESPN, this is not, random Twitter person reporting this. I think Mike Coppinger also reported the same thing. If this is to be believed, Floyd took a cash advance and then undermined the promotion of his own fight to try to protect his 50-0 record and still make a bag. Floyd has done this for years. He has done this for years, especially after his pro career. When he was doing these exhibitions, he would not show up to things he was obligated to do, take advances. Even the Deji fight, you can ask Deji, I was there. Floyd demanded that they pay him some insane amount of money or he wasn't going to fight Deji while he was at the venue. And they wanted to change gloves and do all this stuff. And I think they actually did it. They paid Floyd to do it. And I've seen this with a bunch of his exhibitions. And obviously we know about the Logan Paul situation, how Floyd shopped his fight to a different company after essentially scamming royalty like print.
Jason Whitlock draws attention to music, the many rumors surrounding Floyd Mayweather's financial situation, including claims of bankruptcy, property auctions, and dwindling funds, which some believe are connected to his proposed Mike Tyson music bout. He argues that Floyd spent vast sums during his years in Las Vegas, working to sustain a lavish lifestyle while constantly displaying his wealth and trying to connect with the public. Whitlock views this as a warning about the risks of living for appearances, placing image and status ahead of sound financial decisions. Now, at 49 years old, Mayweather is reportedly preparing for another return to the ring, which Whitlock presents as an example of what can happen when excessive spending and poor financial management overshadow the success and fortune earned during a legendary boxing career.
Where he's coming out about Floyd Mayweather, him auctioning off property, him being in bankruptcy, him being out of money, and that's why he's going to fight Mike Tyson. Saw this incredible tweet where a guy listed all the things Floyd Mayweather wasted money on while living in Las Vegas and just living for the culture. That's what Floyd Mayweather is an example of. The stupidity of living for the culture and trying to be relatable and trying to be this incredible icon or example of, look how much money I've made. He's blown it all. And now at 49 years old, he's got to go back into the boxing ring and continue to fight because
Paulie believes that Floyd Mayweather's controversial remarks could end up becoming the fight's most effective promotional tool. By making attention-grabbing statements and creating debate, Floyd keeps the event in the spotlight and encourages more people to follow the story. According to Paulie, comments about whether the bout is an exhibition or a professional contest may be part of a broader effort to build anticipation. The controversy surrounding those statements helps generate interest, leading to greater public attention and stronger pay-per-view numbers. In his view, every discussion and disagreement over Mayweather's words adds momentum to the event, making the fight even more appealing to viewers. Paulie suggests that Floyd may be deliberately driving the conversation, using public curiosity and criticism as a way to boost audience interest and maximize revenue.
Has to agree to whatever the contract is. If it's a fight, I think one of the comments the other day really made a point that, one of the comments in our chat made a point that, has really stuck with me. Mayweather has to know the terms he agreed to. Come on. I mean, you can't just sign something and not know those terms. He's got to know that that if it is, in fact, it has to be a fight, then he would do this. And he knows he's got to go through with a fight. He may just be saying this just to sell the fight in general, just to sell it as, make it a talking point, make it a controversial point so that people want to wind up, talking about it more. It becomes a topic of discussion. And then from that perspective, people, end up watching, more people end up watching it because it becomes more of a polarizing topic of conversation. So I don't know. I see this eventually getting straightened out. I think it has to. I mean, Floyd has to fight right now. I think Mayweather probably wants to fight right now. Mayweather wants to fight and probably has to fight right now. And Pacquiao seems to want.
That wraps up everything for today's video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more updates in the next one.